What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Chuds BBQ. My name is Bradley Robinson, and today I'm going to show you how I made this. Beautiful, delicious, smoky, tender, scratch-made, amazing smoked barbecue shank sandwiches. That's right, folks. We're talking smoked and pulled barbecue volcano shank with homemade pickled red onions, homemade barbecue sauce on some homemade pull-apart rolls. Coming up. This is some beef. Pat it dry. And what I got here is a volcano shank, aka Thor's hammer, aka giant French beef shin. And as it sounds, this is a cut from the leg. Oftentimes you'll see it sliced this way into steaks, great for ossobuco, things like that. And it's a really tough piece of meat. And I happen to have two of them. Look at the size of that guy. It's massive. And I've cooked shanks plenty of times over the years. It really is a great cut for barbecue because it's got so much collagen and connective tissue in there that really breaks down and turns into gelatin, giving you a super succulent chopped beef or pulled beef at the end of the day. It's very similar to a beef cheek in that regard, where what it may lack in intramuscular fat, it's got so much collagen that it's gonna get really nice and sticky and pick up on a lot of smoke really well. And it's bone in, so it's full of bone marrow, which is just gonna add some even more flavor. And whenever cooking a cut like this, I'm always a little conflicted about how to start because it does have a beautiful fat cap on it, but as you can see under that fat cap, we've got a whole bunch of silver skin. And what happens is when this is on the pit, that silver skin will shrink up really quickly, which can split the fat cap, mess up your bark, and if it doesn't all break down at the end, you might end up with some chewy bits in your shredded beef. But I don't wanna remove the silver skin because that would mean I would remove the fat cap, then this thing might fall apart and we'd have even less juiciness in our meat. So I think today what I'm gonna do is just give it a little bit of a score all the way around. Nothing too big, nothing too deep, just trying to get through that silver skin to hopefully help that break down, giving us a nice tender meat without losing any of the fat. It is tough stuff, I'll tell you that much. And there we go, all scored up. Not the prettiest looking thing in the world right now, and hopefully all these little bits stay on. But again, we're making chopped beef at the end of the day, so presentation isn't really all that important, but just hoping for the best here. But now I gotta get these seasoned up, and today I'm going on with some good old-fashioned Chuds BBQ SPG. My favorite rub to put on beef. Good flavor, good amount of black pepper. That way we can build up a nice bark on this stuff. So just nice heavy coating all the way around. And of course, we're not gonna forget the sides. That'd be a rookie move. And as always, if you wanna use a binder, feel free, but this seems to be sticking just fine. And that is looking pretty much perfect to me. Let's go ahead and fire up the pit. One of these days, I'm gonna shank that pesky little rotten no good dirty little snake in my boat. And on the pit we go. Gonna be rocking a pretty typical barbecue cook on these massive beef shanks, probably around the 275, maybe upward of 300 the whole time, because these are a nice big piece of meat and they've got that insulating bone in there. So I wanna make sure that they get cooked in a reasonable amount of time. But classic post oak fire, and really we're just trying to get some color on there, build up that bark, get that fat rendering down, and get them cooked through. So we'll check back in on these in a little bit. This video is brought to you by Porter Road. Porter Road is a butcher shop based out of Nashville, Tennessee that ships high quality beef, chicken, pork, and a lot of other good things right to your door. And I've been using Porter Road for many years at this point, and I'm genuinely a big fan of what they do. And a lot of that's because you can just tell there's quality put into every step of the process. All their beef is whole carcass dry aged and then hand butchered by really skilled people, resulting in perfectly trimmed steaks. All their roasts are beautifully trussed up, if they are trussed, that is. And unlike a lot of commodity beef that is just sent through a bandsaw really quick with no regard for bone fragments or gashes or anything like that, everything I've gotten from Porter Road is just perfect looking, with no big cuts in the meat. Everything is rounded off. Fat caps are always beautiful. Not to mention the quality of the meat itself is far better than anything I'm gonna get at the local supermarket. And shopping with Porter Road is super easy. You can just go to their website and browse what cuts they've got. They're always updating their website. But my favorite thing about Porter Road is you can get all the standard cuts, ribeyes, strips, filet mignons, pork butts, things like that. But you can also get a lot of offcuts, butcher cuts that you're not gonna find anywhere else. Things like cupa roasts, the volcano shanks that we're cooking today, pig wings, hanger steaks, marrow bones. And as someone that cooks a lot of barbecue in the backyard, I always enjoy playing with different cuts, trying to find that next great thing in barbecue. And Porter Road makes that super easy. So if you're in the market to try some really high quality meat shipped right to your door, click the link in the description box of this video taking you to porterroad.com, or using my link you can save 15% off your first order. Again, link in the description, that's porterroad.com, or using my link you can save 15% off your first order. Thank you, Porter Road. Next up, let's get some slider buns made. Starting by going into our stand mixer with some water, our yeast, our eggs, and our sugar. Get that all mixed up. Followed by our bread flour, our kosher salt, some milk powder, and that's mostly because I don't have any milk on hand, so milk powder plus water should get us close. And last but not least, some dough conditioner. This is gonna make these extra soft and fluffy. And knead that till a dough ball comes together. And once everything is incorporated, in we go with our fat. Today I'm going with some vegetable shortening. I've been playing around with this a lot for my doughs lately, and it seems to work out very well for a nice soft dough. And now we're gonna mix this for probably about 6 to 10 minutes. Beautiful. So out we come with this nice smooth supple dough ball. It's gonna form it into a nice smooth top ball, just like that. Gotta love the look of a freshly made enriched dough ball. Now I'm gonna put it into a grease bowl and let this rise for the next hour to hour and 1/2. 1.5 hours later, we've got some nice puffage. Boop, lovely dough. And now we're gonna break it down into some 50-gram dough balls. And take all the seams, roll them to the underside, and give it the old table roll to make it into a nice smooth ball, like a little mini hamburger bun. And then into our grease dish we go. And now we repeat. And just like that, all balled up, keeping a little bit of space between them so they can rise, which is in fact the next step. I'm gonna hit this with some plastic wrap and let it rise for another probably 45 minutes to an hour. And after a nice rise, these are looking absolutely lovely. Very happy with how that's looking. Nice and plump. And these are gonna be really good. So what I'm gonna do now is hit these with an egg wash, just to give them that nice color and sheen. And top these with a little flaky salt, just for good measure, and to be a little fancy. And now into a 350-degree oven these go until looking nice and golden brown. 20 minutes later, out of the oven these come and looking absolutely beautiful. I did brush some melted butter on top to give them a little more softness and a little more sheen, and they're smelling very good. So I'm gonna let these cool down for a while. Next up, let's go ahead and bust out a quick barbecue sauce. So I'm going into this pot with some apple cider vinegar and our Worcestershire sauce. Whenever you're making a barbecue sauce, it's always a good idea to use your liquid components to melt your sugar component. Today, some brown sugar. And bring that up to a simmer, make sure everything is dissolved. And once all your sugar is dissolved, we can go in with everything else, including some ketchup, some yellow mustard, some kosher salt, some black pepper, granulated garlic, granulated onion, some cumin, some dry mustard, some cayenne, some chili powder, and some paprika. And just get that all nice and stirred up. You could put this back on the heat, but now that the sugar is dissolved, we really don't need to heat treat this much more. Beep. And our beautiful barbecue sauce is done. And one last final thing to check in on before we check back in on that meat is some really quick pickled onions. Starting by going into a pot with some water, some white vinegar, equal parts, some kosher salt, and some white sugar. And bring that up to a boil. And while we wait, we'll get this guy chopped up. What? Well, it would appear I just forgot to press record, but I put the hot brine over the onions and I clearly made a mess. So pretty typical stuff over here. But now lid goes on, let this cool down, pop it in the fridge, and once it's cold, our pickled onions will be ready. So it's been like 7-8 hours on this shank cook, and let's see how they're looking. Ooh, looking pretty good. Definitely nice and barky. All that marrow is bubbling away in the top there. And again, this is pretty much what I expected them to look like at this point, just really barky. Feeling very tough, about 165 internal. Very slow cook. And yeah, they feel like tough as rocks right now, but I assume it's a lot like a beef cheek, where even at high temperatures, they can still feel really tight, because we gotta break these down a little bit further. So I'm gonna wrap these up. Ooh, that's a hot bone. And I fully intended on wrapping the top part of this bone in foil so it wouldn't get really dark, but one, I forgot, and two, it doesn't really matter because we're gonna shred this up at the end. But now I'm gonna give it the old patented Chuds BBQ Hershey Kiss wrap. A goose. Nice tight full foil wrap. And I'm wrapping these a little bit sooner than I normally would, as opposed to something like a brisket or a pork butt or something. And that's because this cut is super tough and full of collagen. And wrapping it around 165, 175 means there's still a decent amount of water in that meat. And the water is really gonna help that collagen break down into gelatin. And also it's gonna steam and hopefully speed up this process a little bit. So back on the pit we go, probably bump it up to around 300, hot, and start probing in like an hour or two. So we're like 12 hours into this cook, and these things are just taking a very long time to get tender. Ow! As you can see, they're definitely getting tender, but still feeling a little tight, rocking 204 internal. And I'm gonna change the plate up a little bit, because originally I wanted this to be a one-day cook, a one-day video shoot, but these took a lot longer than I was expecting, and it's already past midnight, and I'm not sure if it's the Texas allergies or if I'm getting sick, but I feel terrible. So I'm gonna go to bed, but before I do, I'm gonna pop these into my oven, probably at 160, maybe 180 degrees, a little hotter than normal so they keep cooking and breaking down a little bit overnight, keep steaming in the foil, and we'll check back in tomorrow. The next day later. I think it's finally time to check in on these beef shanks, and I'm a little nervous about these. I think a confit would probably be a better treatment for these. And to be honest, that's what I wanted to do, but they're so big and tall that we would need a whole vat of beef tallow, so I figured we'd just try the wrap and steam method. But let's get this out of here. Ooh, yup, looking nice and smoky, nice and barky. Here we got a decent amount of juice in here. Oops, oh no. Oh, right on the apron. But yeah, they're definitely looking nice and black, so let's go ahead and see if they shred up. Yep, I'd say that's pretty tender, folks. That's still hot. I rested this in my toaster oven overnight on this tray wrapped up, just like you saw, at 180 degrees. So these have been cooking for a real long time, making sure that everything is super tender and just so sticky. Definitely saving these bones for making stock. I am due to make a batch of some homemade smoky beef stock. Yup. Oh yeah, that's some good looking chopped beef right there, or shredded beef. It's almost like barbacoa, really. Probably should let this cool down, because it burns my little fingies. Beautiful. So now I'm just gonna go around and keep breaking this up. If I find any bits that are too crispy or a piece of sinew that didn't break down or something, I'll pull it out. But really, that's looking pretty good. I dumped it out on the board just to keep pulling it, make life a little bit easier. I also grabbed this big heavy knife and I can just kind of chop it up a little bit. But if you want it chunkier, you can just leave it as is. But just a little one, because that's looking pretty good to me. Nice and juicy, lots of little bits of bark in there, and I'm pretty excited to make some sliders out of this. And now that our chopped beef is done, let's check back in on these rolls. Will they come out? Ooh, all that egg on the bottom, that's cool looking. But beautiful looking rolls. I mean, come on, those are perfect looking. This is actually the dinner roll recipe from when I deep fried a whole turkey in Wagyu beef fat, but I was gonna cook these yesterday and I was gonna slice them all in half this way and make a bunch of sliders, but that's when I had friends over and now I'm all alone. So I don't think I'm gonna make nearly as many, but let's see if they pull apart. Whew, that was satisfying. Yeah, I can eat 6 of these, why not? But first, oh, that's so cool. Just nice and fluffy, pull apart, just beep, beep. You guys gotta try this out. Love it. So now it's time to cut these in half. So now it's time to toast these off, and I really should get out some butter, but I'm feeling particularly lazy. So I'm just gonna hit them with some spray oil. Don't judge me. There's also a lot of fat in these already, so should work out. So on the chud press we go. Get some nice toasty toast going. Whew, those softened up a lot. Ooh, not my best toast job. But first things first, we're gonna go down with some of our beautiful homemade barbecue sauce. Just a nice painting. Edge to edge, folks, come on. And don't forget the sides. Actually, do forget the sides this time. That's just weird. I'm gonna hit both sides though. And now down with some of our beautiful smoky pulled shank meat. Just a healthy mound. That looks pretty good to me, except for right there. Yeah. And to top off these super simple barbecue sliders, we're gonna go down with some lovely homemade pickled onions. Love the color contrast, good amount of brightness, acidity, and fattiness. I'm getting pretty excited, folks. Love it. And then top goes on. And there it is, folks, some super simple barbecue sliders. Everything made as far from scratch as I'm willing to go. Gotta say, folks, I'm pretty excited about this one. It's a nice pull-apart barbecue slider. So simple, but everything is so fresh, and I think it's time to see how it came out. That was a big bite and well worth it. That is a phenomenal bite right there, folks. That bread is amazing, just so fluffy and flavorful. The beef is amazing. It's super smoky, well seasoned, good texture on it, and it's really sticky, kind of like barbacoa or beef cheeks is, which is very different than chopped brisket. Highly recommend it. The barbecue sauce is well balanced with sweetness and acidity and a little bit of kick from the pepper and the cayenne. Then you got those simple red onions on top, which just add a big pop of brightness and flavor, and you don't need much more than this. That is really good. Just gonna keep going. The shank really is an overlooked cut in the barbecue world because I'm sure it's cheaper than brisket and you get such a nice, unique experience from it. And yeah, I'm going for another one. That really is a fantastic bite and a pretty fun cook too. You know, I got pretty nervous in the middle there, but it all worked out really well. And it's also nice having a really simple barbecue sandwich again. You know, usually I go pretty overboard when I make sandwiches on this channel, but there's something to be said about the simple chopped beef sandwich or chopped shank sandwich. But with this very last bite of pulled barbecue shank pull-apart sliders, I think it's time for the official taste test. All right, y'all, and that is it. That is how to make some absolutely fantastic smoky pulled volcano shank barbecue pull-apart sliders. If anyone has a more clever name than that, please let me know in the comments down below. But I highly recommend giving this recipe a try. It's always fun to try out new cuts. The shank is a great cut for the backyard barbecue pit, and it really results in some tender, smoky pulled beef. But all that being said, if you enjoyed this video, let me know by hitting that subscribe button. Let YouTube know by dropping a like on this video. If you give this recipe a try for yourself, be sure to tag me on Instagram at chudsbbq. I'd love to see what y'all are cooking. Big shout out to all the Patreon members. Thank you for supporting supporting Team Chud and allowing me to keep making all these videos. And until the next time I see you, please go cook something outside. Peace.